Okay, I'm asking her to turn to the left, and she pokes her shoulder to the inside of the turn, or to the left, crosses her legs, and turns her nose to the right. So here she is crossing her legs instead of stepping around. And this is more of our goal right here, where I'm asking her and she's actually stepping around and turning her nose to the inside. Here you can see the two compared. The top clip is when we first started, the bottom clip is the end of our session. And the bottom clip is more of what we want, and she was actually still even a little sticky, but it was way better than in the beginning. Do you guys see the difference? Hi, welcome to our channel. This is Lene, and this is my horse Baby. This is our second ride, and all we did on this ride was just walk. And I heard one time a while back that when you get on your horse will let you know what you need to work on. So our goal for 2018 is to show in Western Pleasure walk jog. And when I got on Baby and we started walking around, I noticed what you saw in the beginning of this video, where when we turned to the left, I asked her to turn to the left, and she wanted to kind of fall into the inside of the turn. So her left shoulder poked to the inside of the turn. She was crossing her legs, and she had the wrong arc. She tipped her nose to the outside instead of to the inside. So that's what we're going to work on in this video. And right here, I was putting my right leg on her to turn, and she wasn't wanting to. So I took my right hand and reached over to the left rein and just kind of pulled up and out on that side to get her to give a little bit more that way. And for whatever reason, she's just seems a little stickier turning to the left than the right. Turning to the right, like right here, is a lot better for her, a lot easier. She flows a little bit more. She kind of tends to step around, up and around like she's supposed to, but to the left, she right there wants to cross over and wants to get on the wrong arc. She wants to turn her nose to the outside. So I don't know if she's maybe stiff on the right side of her neck. I've noticed her doing this when we were lunging too, poking that left shoulder to the inside and tipping her nose to the outside. There's probably different reasons why she would do that, but that's what she showed me almost as soon as I got on her. And that's what we worked on. So we just kind of did serpentines and smaller circles and worked on right here. She's turning to the left. And sometimes like that wasn't too bad. Sometimes she was better than others. And this is just all of the learning process, us getting to know each other. And I'm in no rush. I'm a believer in if they can't do it at the walk, they can't do it at the jog or the lope. So I'm just going to take my time and we're going to work through this. I feel like this is what helps to achieve better balance in your horse and helps them to learn how to carry themselves. So for me, I would call this teaching them how to be between your legs and be between your reins. And if they're not between your legs and between your reins, they're not balanced and they won't travel as pretty as they could. And when they're balanced, they're going to have a better cadence and they're going to be more consistent with the way that they travel. And I've said in a couple of my other videos that I'm not a horse trainer. I'm a professional fitness trainer. I've been doing that for 32 years and I competed myself in bodybuilding for 11 years. I got my pro card in 1996 in bodybuilding, and what I do is help people become aware of their bodies and what their bodies are doing. And because I've done that for so long, I think it really helps me with my horses. It helps me to feel what they're doing. I've learned that sometimes with horses, when you pick up on them, that if they're not accepting you picking up on them and being in their mouth is what I would call it, they will sometimes try to escape. Some ways they escape are by poking a shoulder out, not holding their head straight, so like tipping their nose in one direction or the other, giving their face but not giving their bodies. So if you pick up on them, they might give with their face, but it doesn't mean that they're necessarily accepting, because you want them to not just give their face, but to give you their body and their feet. And when you pick up on them, they shouldn't have any lean. And to me, lean is just another word for escapism or avoidance of not doing what you're asking them to do, either because they don't understand or they just physically can't do it yet. They don't have the muscles to do it. And to me, this is an example of what I would call lean, or actually maybe just a little leak. She has a leak turning to the left. She is like letting that shoulder leak out to the inside of the turn and not wanting to turn that way. So it's just something that we needed to work through. And by the end of the session, she did really well. And my video camera ran out before we got to finish the turn. It was at the very end of our session. But she actually did a turn, and it was the best one that she had done, where she stepped around. Because when you put pressure on your outside leg and you neck rein them to turn a certain way, they should keep their heads down and step around with each foot. They shouldn't be crossing their feet over one another. They should be stepping up with all 4 feet. And she wasn't wanting to do that to the left. So I forget how long this session was. It was a good probably 20-25 minutes or so. And that's all we did was turns, serpentines, circles, and we ended on a really good note. And I ended up riding her the next day. We worked on the same thing again. She was even a little bit better. And we actually jogged on the second ride too. And you'll see right here coming up when she turns to the left, she's getting better. Still a little bit sticky, but better than what she was in the beginning. And I also want to say it's not always your horse. Sometimes it's you and what you're doing. And I would maybe question that, but I have a horse that I do ride. He stays between my legs, so it's not anything that I'm doing, at least that I'm aware of. And again, I did notice it when she was lunging. And my sister also rode her too and noticed the same thing. So, I just wanted to say though that sometimes it's not just the horse. So you have to learn to determine if it's you or your horse. And I think part of that comes from just knowing yourself, being aware of your body, how you are sitting on your horse, if you're sitting even on both butt cheeks, if you have more pressure in one stirrup than the other, just being aware of what your body's doing. And if you know that you're sitting square and you're sitting balanced and centered on your horse, and they're pushing a shoulder out or not walking a straight line, that it's something that they're doing, and they're just showing you that it's something that they need to work on. So this is what baby showed me for today, and when we rode the next time, it was actually something that we had to work on again, and we'll have to work on it for a while to get it better. She also showed me something different the next ride after this, so watch for that video. I'm going to be posting that and just our journey from our first ride to next year when we show. And again, just remember, I'm not a horse trainer. I'm just sharing with you how I ride and how I do things, and trying to explain the things that we're working on and how we work through them and get past them. And right here, I'm riding with 2 hands. And throughout the video, I've gone back and forth between riding with 2 hands and back to 1 hand. And I kind of just use what feels right at the time. And sometimes switching to 2 hands like this, it's easier to get them straight between the reins and between your legs. And trying to get her body to move up to her face instead of her resisting that and poking a shoulder out. Just helping her to not just give it the face, but to move her body up to her face for better balance, to get her back lifted more, and to be able to guide her more with my legs, because in Western pleasure you're supposed to ride on a loose rein, so you have to guide them from your legs and not bump them or be in their mouth. You have to have control of their bodies, you have to have control of their feet without using your hands. You want to use your hands as little as possible. In some of the smaller shows you can get away with bumping in here and there when the judges aren't watching, but I did a paint show about 3 years ago with my boy Chance, and there were 4 judges. So when you have 4 judges watching you, you don't really have an opportunity to do that. And he was a really good boy. I didn't have to touch him at all. And that's what I'm working on with Baby. And I think all that comes from balance. You have to get them balanced. You have to get them between your legs and between your reins, so you don't have to use your hands. And this is the end of our session right before the video camera battery died. So we're back to one hand, and she's walking nicely with a good headset, and we're gonna turn to the left in slow motion. And you saw this clip in the beginning of the video. She stepped around pretty nicely, still a little sticky, but she didn't turn her nose to the outside, and I was really happy with our session. If you want to see more videos like this, please give us a thumbs up.